Hi there, welcome back, or if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Hélène and I am bringing you another video, in this case, another palette tag. And it's literally called another palette tag. This tag was started by Kaily Baute. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her last name, but it is a great tag, and there's been a few palette tags floating around YouTube, and when I read the questions for this one and saw a number of other videos, I knew I had to do this one. So, very few questions. There are a total of 9 questions, so it's going to be quick, and I think that the questions are so good because so many of us who have a palette collection can relate. So, here it goes. So the first one is, what was my first palette? Now, I don't have the one that was not my first palette because it was this big box of eyeshadows, cheek products, lip products, and highlighters, and also a kind of a glittery bronzer. I will put a picture of it in this video, but the one that I have that was from my most recent plunge back into makeup is this one, the CoverGirl Nudes. And as you can see, if I can get it open, there we go. It has seen a lot of love. There are some serious dips in a number of the colors, and this was, I got a few of the CoverGirl palettes, but this was the first one, and it was really to understand whether I wanted to invest into the Naked palettes from Urban Decay, and I did end up getting the Naked palettes quite a bit later. I used these palettes for a long time before actually moving on to the Naked palettes, and ended up buying what's called a vault of Naked 1, 2, 3, and Heat, and I do not regret that. I do still take this palette traveling though, because it is so compact and I'm not worried about what's going to happen to it, and the colors are decent. I find the lasting power is not as good. I tend to have to reapply, but they are beautiful shades and I will continue to use it. So there you have it, my first one. Now, second question. My most recent purchase. And this is very recent. I'm filming this early June, and I got this on the Memorial Day weekend sale for Sephora. In Canada, there was a sale the week before and during the Memorial weekend. And this is the palette that I got. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette is the most recent acquisition. And I got it because it was half off. And I had vowed that if this palette were half off, I would buy it. And what really convinced me to go ahead and get this Too Faced palette was not only the fact that this is the OG for a lot of people, or Holy Grail, but also because of another palette that is coming up in another one of the questions. So hang tight. All right, next one was one you regret missing out on. Now, I had a couple of close calls with Kat Von D. And that was, I thought the palette Pastel Goth was gone, and then it re-emerged in Canada, I think in April, and I managed to grab, I'll admit, more than one. And and I love that palette. And the other ones were the Kat Von D Quads, which I just recently got my hands back on. You know what, I'm gonna just bring those out for a second so that you can see what I'm talking about. Hang on. So here's the Pastel Goth I was talking about. Here are the shades. And really, really cool. So I thought I had made my peace with it, that I had missed out on it, and it's beautiful colors, and I'm looking really forward to playing with it. And then there are the quads. This is what they look like. And I'll just open up one for you. And I thought that these had gone as well. And they just popped up recently, all of them, on the Sephora site. And I managed to get 3 of them. So I managed to get this one, Sage, the Plum, and the Rust. And I'm really, really happy to have gotten my hands on those at a really great price. And like I said, those 4 products, I thought they were gone. And the one that's there's a 4th quad, the smoky. Luckily, that one I didn't even want, so it has not reemerged, and I'm fine with that. And those 3 quads, I call them my own shade and light palette, because I'm not big on the colors in the overall shade and light palette, because I have so many neutrals already. But when I saw those, I have just the neatest color scheme. I'm so glad that I was able to get them. Now, the one I missed out on. I joined the YouTube crew as far as watching a ton of beauty channels after Mi Vida Loca. But I have seen so many videos on it that I drool at the idea that Kat Von D will release another palette with a lot of those. And the Serpentine palette also would have fit the bill for those bright colors. I love the pastel goth, but those colors are, of course, pastel, more muted. I would absolutely love to get the full pigmentation and vibrant colors again at some point in the future from Kat Von D. So I guess that's maybe a future wish. But Mi Vida Loca, even though it was not available when I jumped on YouTube, it is one that looks just fantastic. The next question. One that makes me happy to look at. That is a no-brainer for me. A lot of folks did not like this packaging. I think it is the bomb. And it slides out like this. This is the Heavy Metals palette that was a... Oh, sorry, I'm blinding you. It was the Heavy Metals palette that was in last year's limited edition palette from Urban Decay, and I'm quite sure it's still available on the Urban Decay site if you want to get your hands on it. I love the fact that there are all these metallic shades, and they're so vibrant on the eye. Anytime I use this palette, I kick myself wondering why I don't use it more often. And I mean, like I said, the packaging, it just makes me so happy. I sometimes even just pick it up, open it up for inspiration, even if I'm not using it. So to me, that says a lot. The next palette is, or the next palette, the next question is one that I have changed my mind about. And I have to say, I am eating major crow on this one. And it is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I was not intending to buy this palette. I don't like the concept of Sweet Peach, because we know what that emoji stands for, and you know, like but I ended up being able to get it from somebody who had given it to someone as a gift, and the person didn't want it, so I ended up getting it brand new, and it is not a fake. I did my research, so I know that this is the real deal. I ended up loving this palette. When I did a focus on Too Faced, I'll link that video down below. I did a 12 days of nothing but using Too Faced products, and this was one of the palettes that I used. And I was really taken aback by it. The only thing that I really don't like about it is that I think the packaging is just stupid. Like, I really don't like the packaging. But this is the palette, when I said earlier I got the chocolate bar palette, this is really the palette that convinced me that if people were that crazy about the chocolate bar, that if I was really enjoying this one, then I probably would enjoy the chocolate bar as well. So there you go. I was shocked by this, and I even like it more than the Just Peachy Mattes palette from Too Faced, and that was a complete shock. So very happy that I have it, and very happy that that I gave it a go. A palette that really surprised me was a little package of goodness, which is the Tarte East Pro To Go. This is, if you don't know what this palette looks like, it is very, very tiny. And it has only 6 shades, right? So how great could 6 shades be? Well, it is a palette that is actually really versatile. I take it with me when I travel because I know I can get for like 3 or 4 days straight completely different looks. Well, more than 4 days, but I'm being conservative. And the color payoff of the various shadows is great, and I just love the colors in this palette. And it is a palette that has made me really want the Tarte East Pro palette, period. If that palette goes on sale for a decent price, because I just won't pay the full price for it. I just don't think it's worth it. If it goes on a good sale, I will definitely pick it up, because this has proven to me that I want the Tarte East Pro. And now, number 7 of 9 is what palette inspires me the most. It is the Full Spectrum palette from Urban Decay. I am so inspired by this palette. It is just, because it has all these colors, if I'm not sure what I want to do, it, along with the Heavy Metals palette that I will sometimes just take out to look at, those palettes give me a lot of inspiration, and sometimes I just don't know what I want to do. And by opening up the Full Spectrum palette, I may choose one color and maybe pair it with another palette and just go to town. And I have also used this Full Spectrum palette for a full look, and I have yet to regret that decision every time I've done it. So it's a palette that has been a disappointment for a number of people, but I have to say that it's made me enjoy it a lot and crave more color looks. And so it's unleashed an amount of creativity in me that I didn't realize was kind of pent up. So I really like that palette. Enough said. Question number 8 is one that is on your wish list, or my wish list. Well, that would be very simple. That is that Tarte East Pro palette. It is on my wish list. I would really like to get it, but again, I just will not pay full price for it. So if it gets discontinued and drops off the face of the earth and there's no additional opportunity to get it, that's fine. But under the right conditions, it is absolutely going to make it into my makeup collection. Moving on to the last question, my no-fail palette. And my no-fail palette is definitely the Tarte Clay Play. Now I have the original, but you know what? I'm sure that it's just upside down here, but I don't want to blind you with the mirror. I'm sure that the revamped palette with the blush is just fine as well. These shades blend like a dream. I'm surprised at the variety of looks that I was able to do with this, and just as I mentioned with the Pro To Go, this one is also a palette that I played with during my 12 days of Tarte, and I was really impressed with this palette. And I mentioned in the Tarte 12 Days of Tarte video that if I hadn't held back on not using this palette for just about the first week of those 12 days, I would probably have used it every single day. It is a fantastic palette, and it's like a no-brainer. If I just have 5 minutes, that's the one I'm going to pick up and do something quick. And it doesn't matter if it's a look I've done before, I just know it's going to turn out just fine. So yeah, there you go. I hope you had some interesting insights with some of my answers. I do wonder what your answers would be to those 9 questions, and so I invite you to either leave your answers or thoughts in the comments below, or to do your own video and post it to YouTube. And that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me today. If you like the content on this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on this channel in general, why not subscribe? That's it for now. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.